Hi, Denver Moms. I am with Denver Mom Collective and am lucky today to talk with Chuck Altvater, who is the DFPC Community Risk Reduction and Education Branch Chief. And we are here today to talk about wildfires. So this kind of came up when we were, talking to moms who maybe recently moved to Colorado and are navigating fire season and just, all the information and wondering what they need to do, if they need to be worried. So we thought this would be a really good opportunity to educate families. So I thank you for
Well,
being
my pleasure, Sarah. I'm always happy to be here.
here. So just to get started, how does this year compare to previous years that you've seen as far as fire risk?
Well, this is the driest year we've ever seen. The climate's getting hotter and drier. We've had the lowest snowpack in 40 years. And
Mm.
for your listeners who don't know, 80% of Colorado's drinking water comes from our snowpack.
Yeah,
And it falls in the wintertime. It builds up in the mountains. It can be up to 40 feet deep. And then in the spring, it melts and it feeds our streams and our rivers that fill our reservoirs. And with so little snowpack this year, we're in a pretty severe drought. And that has a lot of consequences for wildfire behavior. Uh, as things dry out, they become more combustible. I mean, I think most people understand that.
right,
And with our record low amount of water in the system this year, a lot of the fine vegetation, like grasses and the smaller sticks that in the wildfire world we call 1 hour fuels, meaning that they ignite very quickly.
right.
And they're very dry. And when they do ignite, they immediately preheat the other fuels, the larger fuels.
Okay.
And so a fire can go from incipient, or what I like to call baby fire. It can go from that baby fire stage to a full-blown wildfire in minutes. It's that volatile this year.
Okay. And
Mhm.
we've seen a lot about, evacuations or warnings. Can you talk a little bit about what the evacuation levels are and what families should be doing at each stage?
Yeah, so we like to put it into a framework we call ready, set, go.
Okay.
And so most of the time we're in that ready phase. And this is kind of when we want to get ready. We want to lean forward a little bit and understand that wildfires do happen.
Hmm.
They're going to happen and we need to be ready for them.
Right.
And not to scare anybody, but we want people to be prepared.
Hmm.
And this is the time when you prepare your home, you prepare your family. We can talk a little bit about preparing your home. And that basically means making sure there's nothing within 5 feet of your home that can burn.
Okay.
So we want no mulch, no bushes, no kids' toys, no trash cans. We want to clear that 5 foot area. And for a lot of people, this takes a real shift in mindset.
Hmm.
I know I grew up with the flower bed right in front of the house, and we fill it with mulch every year. And, it looks like a picture book kind of home. And I like that too, but I've had to change my mindset of what home looks like.
Okay.
And so even on my home, I've cleared that first 5 feet. I don't technically live in the WUI, but I live close enough that embers are a problem if there ever is a fire near my home.
Got it.
And so we've cleared that 5 feet. There's no mulch within 5 feet of my house. We've moved the mulch bed out 5 feet and created a walkway immediately adjacent to the home.
Yeah.
And so it makes it more pleasant in the mornings. We have a bistro set out there and we enjoy our coffee out there on the walkway. And
Perfect.
it's very nice. It's just different than what a lot of us grew up thinking it
Right.
should look like. So we want to keep that 5 feet clear, but this is also a time to pack your go bag.
Okay.
And I think a lot of us who are parents understand what a go bag is, right? It's got, 3 days worth of food. It's got changes of clothes. If you've got little ones, it's a diaper bag. It's
Mhm.
all the things you need for your family to live independently for 3 days.
Okay.
We also want people to include N95 masks in their go bags now.
Okay.
And the reason for that is we know smoke is very harmful, especially to young lungs,
Mhm.
and we want people to protect our airways. So include N95 masks. You can go to hardware stores and pick them up. You can order them online. My family has their FR rated N95 masks, so
Okay.
they stand up to the heat a little bit better than a regular one does.
Okay.
But hopefully you evacuate soon enough that's not an issue.
Right.
So yeah, that's the ready phase or
Okay.
level one you might hear. This is also a time that if there's fires nearby, you want to make sure the fuel tanks on your car are full. You want to move things like propane tanks inside your home so that they're protected from any fire that does come by.
Okay.
Level two is where people start hearing the word evacuation.
Okay.
And this is usually worded as voluntary evacuations.
Hmm.
Okay. And this is a time when you should start putting stuff in your car. You should start rounding up your pets, making sure that they're not hiding in closets, or out in, if you have land, maybe not out on the property somewhere. You
Right.
keep them close to the house.
Okay.
If you have large animals like horses, goats, things that are going to need to be trailered out, this is the time when you should leave.
Okay.
But for household pets, this is the time to get their crates ready, be ready to go.
Okay.
Uh, Level three is mandatory evacuation. And this is
How,
really when
I mean, interrupt you. How fast could you go from a level 2 to a level 3?
there are instances where it's minutes.
Minutes. Okay.
They'll issue a voluntary evacuation order, and then something changes. The
Right.
wind shifts, something blows up, and it's time to get everybody out now. So it could change very rapidly.
Okay.
So we want people to be paying attention during that level two voluntary evacuation phase because things are very dynamic at that time.
Right. Okay.
Level three is mandatory evacuation. That means that the fire is on its way. We want you out of there so that firefighters and operations going on can work without having to worry about you. So we get you out of there and then they can fight the fire and it keeps everyone safer. This is the time to get in your vehicle and exit on those designated routes. Try not to just make things up as you go. There are designated routes. And the reason they're designated is because there's more emphasis placed on protecting those routes than there are other ways of necessarily leaving, especially in the hills. Yeah.
Okay. Makes
And
sense.
then, yeah, this is the time when we don't want to delay. We want to grab those essential things, people, pets, medications, and get in the car and go.
Okay. So what is the best resource for a family to like what websites should we have bookmarked or text alerts
Yeah.
should we sign up for? Where does the trusted source?
Well, I mean, the Denver metro area is made up of multiple
Mhm.
cities and counties, and it
Right.
kind of depends on where you live.
Okay.
If you live in Denver, sign up for Smart 911
Okay.
um, or Everbridge, and that's going to push out information to you. You have to sign up for it. You have to opt in.
Okay.
If you live in Adams or Douglas County or the city of Aurora, sign up for Code Red.
Okay.
And if you live in Jefferson County or Broomfield or Westminster, up in that area, they use Lookout Alert.
Okay.
So, and then another app that is very common nowadays is called Watch Duty.
Mm-hmm.
And this pushes out alerts. One caution is it's not necessarily always official information,
Okay.
but it does push out a lot of information and gives you an idea where fires are growing, where fires are being contained around the state.
Okay.
One thing about wildfires is ahead of that fire front that everybody always seen in the movies, you see this wall of fire.
Yes.
That that is a danger if you're right in front of the wall, but an even bigger danger is the embers that come off of that fire.
Okay.
And they can travel miles ahead of that flaming front. So when there's a wildfire in the region where you live,
Mm-hmm.
you really want to be on the lookout for that kind of ember activity around where you are, because
Okay.
that's a good indicator that maybe the fire's coming quicker than you anticipated.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to maintain your what we call situational awareness.
Okay. And then we have fire crews, working around the clock. And what is there anything the community can do to help other than pay attention and follow the rules? Is there anything they can do to, support the workers who are leading response efforts?
Yeah, really, it's being ready and being prepared to evacuate when the time comes. uh, comply with fire restrictions. I mean,
Yes.
that they exist for a reason. Most of the state is under a stage one, and then in places where there's various factors, whether it's terrain or weather or
Mm.
our humidity is really low, they'll bump it up to a stage two.
Yeah.
And under stage two, we don't want to see any smoking outdoors. We don't want to see any kind of fires at all, unless it's like a propane stove that you can turn off.
Okay.
So if gas or liquid fueled stoves or appliances that you can turn off and on, but we don't want to see barbecue grills, backyard fires, anything of that nature.
Okay.
So yeah, complying with those. If anyone has fireworks left over from the 4th of July, just write them off for the year.
Right.
We don't want you using those at all. Uh, Make sure your home has that defensible space I talked about, that 5 feet around.
Mm.
That's critically important. I talked about the embers that come off of a fire. Well, they land around houses. Houses tend to stop things that are flying through the air. Think about leaves in the fall. Think about pine needles. Where they collect on your house, that's where embers are going to collect. So one of the things people can do to help firefighters is clean those things up.
Okay.
Make sure that the gutters on their house are cleaned. If there's old leaves or pine needles in there, that's just a wick waiting to be lit.
Okay.
If there's pine needles in the valleys on the roof,
Hmm.
that's another place fire's going to start.
Okay.
So if we can keep those clean and in good order, then that really helps firefighters because if we prevent one house from burning down, we can prevent 30 houses from burning down because often what ignites other houses is that first house that catches on fire.
So get your neighbors on board.
Absolutely. Work together as a community.
Yeah.
This is all about teamwork.
Yeah.
Fire prevention, fire mitigation is a team sport. So we really need everyone on the team.
And then, I'm thinking about kids watching, the news or maybe seeing the alerts. And do you have
Mhm.
advice for parents who are kind of guiding their kids through that and just how they talk about it with their kids about the risk and, maybe firefighters protecting them and how you can just, approach it from a practical but maybe not a scary way?
I think the first thing in alleviating kids' worries is teaching them that fire is a natural process. This isn't the end of the world. This isn't some doom and gloom thing. This is a natural process that the earth uses and our environment needs.
Yeah.
The ecosystem needs fire for regeneration.
Hmm.
And what really makes it dangerous and scary for us is that we are in nature. We've built our houses here.
Hmm.
So part of being less scared is understanding that natural process and that we need to make sure our homes are ready. We're ready to go if we need to, but this isn't something out of the ordinary.
Right.
We need, and that being prepared, being ready to go is our way of taking action. There's
Right.
something that we, even your little ones, can do to be ready when there is a wildfire. And then leave early. No, you don't have to wait until someone tells you to leave.
Right.
If you and your kids are feeling scared because that fire seems like it's a little too close, go ahead and get your stuff, get in the car, and go somewhere safer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then just to kind of wrap up, what is one thing that you wish Colorado families understood about wildfire risk in the area?
One thing I wish they understood is, ooh.
Or one thought you want to leave them with?
Yeah, no, I think really I wish they understood that this is no longer just a mountain problem.
Yeah.
It's no longer forest fires. We used to say, Smokey Bear used to say only you can prevent forest fires.
Yeah.
That's been updated to say only you can prevent wildfires.
Okay.
And most fires that we face are human caused. Something like 85% of wildfires are caused by some sort of human activity.
Yeah.
And if we reduce the number of sparks, the number of fires that we produce, we reduce the number of wildfires. Um, you know, and this really it's about being prepared, not being scared. And when the time comes to go ahead and go and let the firefighters do their job.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And
My
good luck
pleasure.
this season. And thank you so much for all you do to educate families and keep us safe.